So what is the meaning of life? What's this all about? What's the point of it? Do we have a mission that, first of all, we have to find out what it is and then complete it? One of my community members asked me this question recently, and instead of typing a response, I thought I would take the opportunity and share my thoughts here. But whatever I'm about to share with you, I want to encourage you not to blindly believe it, but to hold it loosely. I want you to begin to discover your own truths. This is what this video is all about, from what I'm pointing at. Because we do live in a world full of religious and spiritual people who treat their beliefs as fact with 100% certainty. And that is something that so many of us will hide behind for an illusion of safety. Yeah, it stops us at times seeking deeper answers by blindly believing what other people are telling us. And those truths are not our own. And in this video, I'm going to encourage you to find your own truth. I've always been a bit of a truth seeker. When I was young, I was born into a Christian culture. My parents weren't that dedicated. I was baptized and I went to a school that was quite Christian. And I kind of accepted, without even questioning it, the Christian version of God until I was getting a bit older. And the Christian version of God made me feel a bit uncomfortable. There's a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of rules and regulations that seemed more man-made than godlike. So I began to explore what else was out there. And I discovered spirituality, which blew my mind at the time. It seemed very kind, it seemed quite compassionate, and I'm not going to lie, I was drawn to the idea that people could have superpowers, heal people, that they could speak to the dead, see ghosts, see auras, and foretell the future. That, for a young teen, was very exciting, of course. So I was drawn right in. And I developed quite the spiritual ego identity that also treated my spiritual beliefs as fact. Until I started to get, over a number of months, a spiritual message which said, "The truth shall set you free." I kept hearing it. It was like a drumbeat, and so I began to explore it. The truth shall set me free. That blew my mind, because the more I began to look at what I believed, the more I began to get this creeping sense of dread that it couldn't be fact, that it could possibly be wrong. And that shook me. I got a knot in my stomach. I began to form a cold sweat as I'd been treating my spiritual beliefs as fact. And now I began to think about, am I a fraud? Am I someone who's promoting something that actually couldn't be real? And there seemed to be not much in the way of evidence to support what I believed. And throwing all my toys out of the pram, my spiritual ego identity died, and like a phoenix from the flames, a new atheist ego identity was born. And in a way, from that, I stopped seeking the truth. I was demanding it, but I wasn't seeking it. I was demanding the scientific evidence for what people believed, and I was quite angry at people who blindly believed their spiritual and religious beliefs. And the reality was, of course, I was really angry at me. I felt like I'd been tricked. I felt like I'd been brainwashed. And then one day, I was meditating on that couch, a good few years ago. And as I was meditating, I went into a deep level of trance. And I was almost like floating there. It's really beautiful. It's very blissful. And suddenly the lines seemed to blur between my mind, my body, and reality. And I felt like I was at one with everything. That was powerful. And it felt so natural. It felt like I'd come home. It was so familiar. And as I was just floating there, just simply being, I began to sense something else. And that something else felt alive. An energy. It was almost like an awareness that had an electrical current of aliveness through it. And what was interesting was I intuitively knew that this was not something that was separate to me. I am that, and that is me. And it was a strange feeling, which, again, I didn't question. I was just simply experiencing. And without any type of dialogue, I knew that if I tried to analyze this, judge it, or create some form of belief about it, I would be limiting this whole experience. So I knew there and then that no belief could be true. All we are is this experience that we are having right now. Everything else is a perception our thinking mind ego adds on top. And that's okay, it really, really is. But it's not reality. And in that moment, there was a liberation from the thinking mind. I was just having that experience. What I also knew was that there is nothing I have to be or do. Nothing. And that might sound strange because we often feel driven by our egos to have to do things, to complete things, for achievement, for validation, for success, etc. But this was liberating because it was not about what I feel I have to do, but more about what do I really want to do, and to explore what that is from a deeper state of being. And what I began to experience over time was a gentle nudge, a pull in this direction, hence me talking to you now. And if I ask, and I've done this in meditation, if I ask, what is my purpose? It's a fun question to keep asking just to see what pops up. And the one thing that keeps arising at the moment is an image of me standing by a large, overcrowded pool of fish, struggling to move, struggling to breathe. And I'm just on the side of the pool, pointing at another pool. It's clear and there is space to breathe. And you can choose to go there. I simply point at choices available to you to be yourself more than you have ever been. Not who you've been conditioned to be, because most of us don't really ask. Most people don't even know who they truly are. What I'm pointing at for you, because you're the only one here with me, is to begin to move in the direction of connecting to a state of being, to awaken, to discover what it is that you really want, and create your life from there. That is very different to reacting to life on autopilot through the conditioning of your ego, of your mind from the past. But remember, all I'm doing is pointing, and this is what is available to you. You see, if you wanted a mission in life, if you really want to know what I believe could be your mission, your meaning of life, it's to move beyond your conditioning, move beyond your noisy, distracted mind, and hear what you truly have to say from deep within. That, I believe, is a superconscious state. It's where you begin to access your insights, your intuition, your creativity, your inner guidance, and you'll trust yourself in ways you have never done before. Because think about it, a lot of your issues are probably based on the fact that you don't trust yourself. There's internal conflicts and wars going on, and that's exhausting. So, what I'm pointing at is to begin to practice becoming the witness of your mind, to begin to see it for what it is, to begin to see through the illusions your ego, your thinking mind, creates, which masquerade as your reality, which hold you back. And as you begin to see through those illusions, you can begin to let them go. This is where you can begin to experience inner peace, where you can begin to create the most incredible adventure with this one precious life of yours. And you can do that from a place of surrender. You can do it from a place of joy, excitement, but yet it feels calm. And that is a very different contrast to creating a life from a place of force, power, stress, and fear. And we are seeing that play out in public from so many different areas of life. And you are hearing this message because this is what's available to you. Do you want to continue swimming in an overcrowded pool, or do you want to jump to the spacious one where you are free to swim? The choice is yours. And I will always be here pointing at what is available to you. Not to believe what I say or to continue believing what other people are pointing at, but to encourage you to hear your own truths. So, in a nutshell, the meaning of life is a personal one. Your ego can create any experience you wish here. So be careful with that. If you believe Earth is a school where you have to learn, that will be your experience. If you believe you have to work through karma, then you will keep doing that. If you believe you have to worship and follow the rules of God, then you will be drawn to keep doing that. But I encourage you, I'll keep repeating it, seek your own answers, find your own truths, and listen to what you truly have to say beyond the noise of your distracted ego mind. And if you want to go on a deeper level to begin to connect to your superconscious, then check out these meditations. They will help you deepen the level of practice needed to hear what you truly have to say. Please also feel free to join my newsletter and community. The link will be down below.